Well, in Gray Star, Deborah Messing taking a page out of Congressman Joaquin Castro's voter intimidation playbook, targeting those attending an upcoming Trump fundraiser in Beverly Hills. She tweeted, "Please print a list of all attendees, please. The public has a right to know." And her co-star, Eric McCormick, urged the media, kindly report on everyone attending this event so the rest of us can be clear about who we don't want to work with. I think he means with whom we don't want to work. Joining me now is actor and singer Robert Davi. We all mess up our grammar, Robert. I'm being a stickler about that.
Yes.
Someone else writes your lines for you. All right, this is kind of intimidation. It's common in Hollywood, and I should say that, Robert, Eric McCormick, he has a new Instagram post out. I'll get to that in a moment. But is this all just about hating on Trump, or is this just nothing new in your estimation?
Well, it's increased. It's now on steroids. You know, Laura, thank you for having me on. But since the 20s, the 1920s, the Communist Party has infiltrated socialism, America, and especially Hollywood, because Marx knew that culture, and Lenin knew that culture was a point to capture. And you were talking about Ronald Reagan earlier, who was a bleeding heart liberal in the beginning. And then he saw what the lefts were doing with issues, that they were using them for something else. They weren't using them to help the people, but they were using them to divide people. There was a meeting at an actress's house, director called Ida Lupino, let's say the Deborah Messing of the day. And Ida Lupino, they were the communists of Hollywood, the socialists, and Reagan went up to speak. He kind of crashed the meeting. William Holden told him about it, and he crashed the meeting. And they were shouting him down. And there was one actor named John Garfield who said, "Let him speak. He has a right to speak."
I love it.
John Garfield was then taken out by Howard Da Silva and browbeaten by Howard Da Silva, saying he doesn't have a right to speak. The culture of Hollywood left, which has morphed into, and we all care about environment, we care about guns, lives, but to now say that Trump voters should be pinpointed. Are you going to go to the voting booth next? Are they going to go to the voting booth next and say who you're voting for?
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of intimidation.
Well, Robert, nothing's
especially
changed.
people
So
who are.
your point is nothing's really changed. Again, these are the same people who claim a monopoly on compassion and tolerance. They're always wagging their finger at everyone else, trashing conservatives, asking for them to be fired or run out of town, whether in media or Hollywood, on stage, any of it. There is no toleration for any dissent. I've got to say, kudos to Whoopi Goldberg for actually blistering Deborah Messing today. Watch.
When last time people did this, people ended up killing themselves.
Yeah.
This is not a good idea. We don't go after people because we don't like who they voted for. Remember what the blacklist actually meant to people, and don't encourage anyone to do it.
Well, I should say, Robert, that Eric McCormick, I think he felt some of the heat, Whoopi and others. He came out in an Instagram post tonight, just a few moments ago, saying, "I want to be clear about my social media posts from last week, which has been misinterpreted in a very upsetting way." Oh, he's the victim. "I absolutely do not support blacklists or discrimination of any kind, as anyone who knows me would attest. I'd simply like to understand where Trump's major donations are coming from, which is a matter of public record. I'm holding myself responsible for making educated and informed decisions that I can morally and ethically stand by, and to do that, transparency is essential." All right, are you calling on McCormick here? He said, "I want to be clear."
Yes, absolutely. He said
who I want to work with. Grammar mistake noted.
Come on, it's right there. Laura, let me just say this, that I've been offered by other people in the industry at certain points to denounce Trump. And they said, "What do you want?" They said, "What do you want? You'd be on every talk show, everything. Do you want to do something?" It's an absolute, what he's doing has happened. It's happened so many times. People have told me the director wanted to use you, but he knows he can't. That happens to several. And I'm not complaining about it. It's just something that I wish the elders of Hollywood, like Norman Lear and Clint Eastwood, opposing points of view, would call a meeting and say, you know what, we shouldn't be doing this in
Families,
Hollywood.
meeting of the
We
families.
sh-
Yeah. Okay.
A meeting of the
Never gonna
families,
happen.
you know, the
Robert,
5 different
it's never-
families.
It is never going to happen. Okay, never going to happen. They are the most intolerant people when it comes to ideology. They're not for diversity. They're for their type of diversity. Other people are horrible, awful, rotten people, and they just don't want to work with you. I'm sorry, but I've heard this time and again. People have to go, and lie about what they believe in order to feed their families.
Absolutely.
They're lying. They're hiding themselves.
Laura, how many times, and this is what I said to Eric McCormick and the rest of them, the below the line people, the key grips, the sound guys, the lighting guys, the gaffers,
They're all hiding.
makeup artists, a lot of them, 95% are for Trump. So now when they go in front of the cameras and they're frightened, they come to me and they say, man, thank you for speaking up for us. Thank you for being
Robert.
one of the few that speak up.
Thank you for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And if you thought Deborah Messing was done going after Trump supporters, guess again. A Democrat campaigner tweeted out an Alabama church sign that read, "A black vote for Trump is a mental illness." The Will and Grace actress retweeted this, not to rebuke the disgusting comments from the church, but to say thank you. Will and Graceless. Well, she has since deleted the tweet. Joining me now to react, Horace Cooper, co-chair of Project 21, author of the forthcoming book, How